Alright, so mark your calendars for December 22, 2025, because that's when the financial world basically held its breath. Something absolutely huge went down. Gold, that age-old safe haven, didn't just climb a bit. It exploded past every historical barrier it had ever seen. For the very first time, an ounce of gold blew past the wild $4,400 mark, hitting an insane $4,443.44 at its peak. This wasn't just gold slowly going up. Nope, we're talking about a massive 2.32% jump in one single day asterisk, sending pretty much everyone worldwide scrambling for answers. From the big trading floors in London all the way to the busy markets in Mumbai, everyone had the same question on their lips. What's the gold price today? This wasn't just some number, it was a total bombshell, sending shockwaves and investors scrambling to wrap their heads around a market that was fundamentally changing right under their feet. Right after, the internet went absolutely wild with searches, a digital flood showing that everyone collectively realized something epic had just gone down. This record-breaking moment didn't just come out of nowhere, it was cooked up by a potent mix of anticipation and some serious anxiety. So, what on earth could push something as foundational as gold to these crazy, never-before-seen heights? And what does that even mean for the stability of our global economy? We're not just seeing the price tag shifting here, we're actually watching people completely rethink what safety means in these super uncertain times. The big question isn't just how high gold can go, but why the world is grabbing it with such urgency right now. This huge surge is a clear sign that something massive is going on, pushing investors towards that classic appeal of precious metals as a shield against a future nobody can really call. It's a story packed with fear, opportunity, and that never-ending human quest to find some financial stability when the world feels like it's going totally nuts. This isn't just about gold, it's about the future of money itself. So, what's really pushing gold's insane rally right now? It's basically a bunch of economic expectations all mixed up, especially about what the US Federal Reserve is gonna do. The markets are pretty much convinced the Fed will cut interest rates at least twice next year. And that's a massive deal, totally changing the whole investment game. This isn't just guesswork, by the way. It's actually backed by some solid economic numbers that show inflation chilling out and the job market slowly cooling off. Just recently, the November CPI, that's the Consumer Price Index, came in at a pretty good 2.7%. That's a decent chunk lower than the 3.1% everyone was expecting. Even the core CPI, which takes out those crazy ups and downs from food and energy prices, also dropped to 2.6%. These figures are hinting that the Fed's big fight to get inflation under control has actually worked. And that could totally clear the way for them to loosen up their money policy a bit. When interest rates go down, holding onto stuff like gold, which doesn't pay you interest, suddenly doesn't feel like such a bad idea. In fact, it looks way more attractive to investors. And get this, a weaker dollar, which usually happens when rates drop, makes gold even more appealing, since it gets cheaper for people holding other currencies to buy it. This whole complicated dance between what central banks are doing, how inflation is shaping up, and where currencies are valued, is basically giving precious metals a massive push. The market is pretty much betting the Fed is going to ease off the gas, and investors are getting positioned for that by pouring a ton of money into gold as a smart strategic move. This entire economic story is a huge driver, turning gold from just a niche thing into a super important part of investment portfolios worldwide. It's a really calculated move based on expected policy changes, where how much money will cost in the future is directly influencing the value of these classic commodities. So, it's not just about what central banks are doing with money. Something even bigger, more basic, is really pushing gold's price through the roof right now: global instability. In our crazy, unpredictable world, gold has always been the ultimate safe bet, a real, physical asset that holds its value when people start losing faith in regular markets. We've got all these ongoing global tensions, from the war in Ukraine still raging, to what the US is doing with Venezuela, and they're really making things look pretty grim on the world stage. These hotspots create a real feeling of what's next, making investors scramble for assets they see as safe from political chaos and economic bumps. It's what we call a flight to quality. Basically, it's just human nature to look for something solid when everything else feels shaky. And get this, gold isn't the only one doing well in all this uncertainty. Silver, which often plays second fiddle to gold, has really jumped in on the action, shooting up to $68.28 an ounce. Its daily jump of 1.70% is pretty good, but the asterisk real headline here is its yearly performance, an insane 130.04% increase. Platinum also had a big daily leap of 4.47%, hitting $2,097.90. This big climb across all these precious metals isn't just a fluke. It really shows that people are being super cautious and want something real they can count on. Silver's massive yearly gain just proves how much the whole market is turning to these metals as a way to protect themselves from both money troubles and political headaches. As the world tries to figure out all these messy conflicts and changing friendships, it's becoming crystal clear that gold and silver are incredibly reliable ways to stash your cash, really proving their worth as steady anchors when things get rough. This huge jump in precious metals prices? It's not just some Wall Street thing, you know. Its ripple effects are being felt deeply across cultures and continents, and nowhere more so than in India. The skyrocketing gold and silver prices have really cranked up online searches, with terms like silver price today and silver rate today popping up everywhere globally. But what really shows you how global and culturally important this is? It's those localized searches, like Aaj Son Ka Bhav, that's today's gold price, in Hindi, and Kandi Ka Bhav Aaj, for today's silver price. Those are the ones that truly tell the story. See, in India, gold and silver aren't just some metals you trade, they're literally woven into the very fabric of society. They're a symbol of prosperity, super important in religious ceremonies, mark huge life events like weddings, and are a key way people invest their money, especially out in the villages. So, for millions of Indian families, when the price of sona, that's gold, or kandi, silver, goes up or down, it has an immediate, real impact on their personal finances and how they live their lives culturally. This massive interest from India just supercharges the global trend, really turning what might seem like a niche financial news item into a widespread social phenomenon. Everyday investors, both in India and around the world, are now scrutinizing every little price movement with an urgency we've never seen before, making big buying and selling calls based on these crazy, record-breaking figures. The deep cultural significance of precious metals in places like India gives us this really powerful, human-centered way to understand the true global impact of this financial boom. It shows us how those big, abstract market dynamics actually play out in real life, affecting everyday people's decisions. Okay, so gold prices are absolutely blowing past records, and this isn't just some quick news flash. No, this actually signals the asterisk start of a massive bull market for precious metals. We're talking gold alone potentially soaring 60, even 70% by 2025. For folks who played their cards right and got in early, this means some serious gains in their portfolios. But hold on, this surge isn't just good news. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's making it way more expensive for industries that really rely on these materials. Everything from high-end jewelry makers to those cutting-edge electronics firms. That demand for safe investments just keeps getting stronger, thanks to all the ongoing geopolitical headaches in places like Ukraine and Venezuela. And when you throw in the Fed's expected policy shifts, it paints a pretty clear picture. The global economy is seriously wrestling with some huge unknowns right now. Now, lower interest rates are supposed to boost the economy, right? But they usually end up making the US dollar weaker, which, in turn, makes gold look even better as a way to beat inflation. This whole situation might actually be a sign of some really deep-seated money worries out there, potentially triggering a massive reshuffling of investments. We could seriously see cash shifting out of regular stocks and into the safety of gold and silver, which would totally change how investment portfolios look all over the globe. And check this out, silver's also going absolutely wild, with some insane yearly gains. That just screams this isn't a one-off thing, it's a whole sector on fire. So, what's next? Well, it's a tricky dance between what central banks decide, all the geopolitical drama unfolding, and just how investors are feeling. These sky-high precious metal prices really make us stop and think about some big, core questions like, how stable is the economy really? What about all those global risks? And does tangible stuff still really matter in this crazy, ever-changing financial world? Ultimately, the story of gold and silver? It's basically a confidence meter for all of us looking ahead.